All right, welcome. Yours truly, six letters, there's none better. The name is Clever. Back again, Clever Convos. If you're new, you just found this channel and this interests you, go ahead and hit the like, the subscribe, hit that bell notification and rock out with me, and we're gonna go up here. This is for those go-getters, the ones out here with, no excuses. We making it happen over here. So anyways, on this one, I wanna talk about staying down until you come up, and things that kind of stifle us from making moves and really getting out there. So on this one, just rock with me. It's a little unscripted, I'm kind of freestyling going off the top. You know how I do, get in my rapper bag. But this one is special to me. I'm here, back in my hometown, the 757, if you don't already know that. I'm here at my alma mater, Norfolk State University. Any Spartans out there? You watching this, man, show your boy some love. Hit the like button, comment, let me know. If you went to a HBCU, comment, let me know where you repping. Shoot, you went to college in general, you graduated, you did a year, whatever the case may be, man, show your boy some love, let me know where you repping. So on this one, stand down till you come up, right? So it took me a minute. This one is special because it's not your typical homecoming. I came down to, rock out with the home team for homecoming this year. And I'll give you a little backstory. So, I graduated at least 15 or so years ago, right? So, post-graduation, I would still come down, show some love and hit up some of the homecomings and whatnot. But this one was a little different. Because it's been probably over a decade since I really came back home and acknowledged, supported, celebrated my homecoming. Now, it was a number of things that kind of contributed to me not wanting to go or come back home. So, as you listening, if you can relate to any of these, I want you to, acknowledge, put down in the comments, type something, let me know. One of the reasons was, I just ultimately had removed myself from, this space environment, being that I no longer reside back in my hometown area, what I'm saying? I'm not too far, about 3.5 or so hours, but, that's still not a ride across town, some effort and some planning. But nonetheless, it's not as easy to come back home anymore. And, as we all know, life be life, right? I got more responsibilities. I got, family, businesses. I'm still trying to get myself together. So all these factors, the longer you kind of separate from something, the harder it is to come back to it. And, like the boy from T-Dot says, I'm hardly home, but I'm always repping, you know what I'm saying? So, it's 703, up there where I'm at, but it's always going to be 757. So it's always good to be back home. On this one, so I talked about, life, just trying to focus on where I'm going, career moves, getting to this paper, paper chase and all these different things I got going on. And, homecoming each year, as I get further away from it, it doesn't really hold the same merit and value. You know what I'm saying? It's not as enticing and exciting because, back then it was turn up, you know what I'm saying? We was lit, you know what I'm saying? So back in when I was coming home for the homecomings, the yard, everything was wild. It was a great time, to see us just, black folks in general, congregate, get together, celebrate a good time. So I had that going on. Also, another variable and factor, to keep it a buck and be honest is, post-college, in those years after, we all trying to really find ourselves. It's hard to kind of get in, the job market, get your feet established and wet, and, you're trying to figure things out. So for me, also, when I mentioned staying down, these past 5-6 years, I've really been staying down. Like I removed myself from social media as far as like being active. So, a lot of folks is like, I done fell off the face of the earth. I'm ghost. And, that has been true to a certain extent. So I've been staying down because I started really investing into me, invest into my health, see the gains. And just a side way, I just want to shout out some, before I continue on. I am repping, you see I got the Spartan hat on right now. And the watch game is kind of strong right here. This is Talley and Twine. These are some homegrown, local vendors, businessmen down here in this Norfolk, VA area that make some pristine, prestigious, beautiful, wristwear timepieces. So you get a chance, check their website. This ain't no plug. I don't even know these guys. My boy, DPD, he put me on to them. And I went to the site and I had to cop the, I had to cop that Behold in Green Gold right here. You heard me? You see it? So a little sideway. So anyways, I'm always repping. That's what I'm saying. I'm away, but I'm still gonna rep. And to come back to my second or my next point is, when you're staying down and you're focused on whatever path that you're trying to hit and elevate, you really got to separate to elevate. That's something my wife always says, separate to elevate. And I truly believe that pretty much in all aspects of life. You got to kind of get away from the familiar spirit, the things that you've always kind of known. And if you really want to grow and elevate, get away from the noise, learn how to silence the noise. It's noise going to happen on all aspects of your life, no matter where you are, where you're going, what's happening. You're going to hear the noise, you're going to hear the chatter. You got to silence the noise. So for me, another thing was like, I didn't want to kind of be in that element and space, even though it was good times, fun times, party times, reminiscing of old folks. I didn't want to be in that space where I'm listening and just being around certain individuals or crowds or just, I felt like I've outgrown certain people, places, spaces. So I just kept my distance. Now, I say that, the other point I want to make is, as you are figuring things out, as me, I'm figuring things out, learning on the way. We get to a place, and I'm speaking to for myself, but I know there's you out there, if you listen and you chiming in, you can understand and relate. Sometimes you don't really feel that you are where you feel like you should be or where you desire to be. And not to make this a comparison type of story, but, if we're going to be real, we all are kind of, gauging our progress, our success on some of our peers and certain milestones. Like by age 30, I feel like I should be this, that, and the third. I should be a supervisor here. Maybe I should be a homeowner and driving this or a family. Like there's different milestones that we subconsciously set for ourselves. When we don't hit those, we don't feel as valued or worth, like our worth isn't there. So I've been struggling, to keep it a buck through the past years of just dealing with that, and, to be quite honest, I'm doing extremely well for myself, to God be the glory, things are great, but also wanted to challenge myself is like, let me stay down, let me stay under the radar, I'm not talking about the moves I'm making, I'm moving stealth-like, but I know there's a bigger vision, there's a bigger plan, bigger goals that I'm trying to reach and adhere to. So I don't need to be all in the mix and be influenced and watching how other people are making moves. So that's why I remove myself. One of the reasons why I remove myself to social media, so that thief of joy comparison, it doesn't creep up in my spirit. And I'm like, oh man, such and such is doing this, doing that. Like, no. I got to a point where, I made the vision, I wrote the vision and made it clear. That's biblical, that's scripture. And once I started locking in, I'm like, I got to sacrifice. I got to make certain moves, certain things I got to do in order for me to really elevate and get where I want to go. And yeah, it'd be nice to kind of catch up with some of the homies and see some old faces and party and just be in that ambiance. I don't even feel right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your money ain't right, if your health ain't right, if your mind ain't right, if you ain't where you kind of feel you should be, I'm not really in a celebratory space or life. And not saying everything was all bad, but more importantly, like, I want to really go after it and get it. So I got to kind of cut some things off and put some things to the side in order to do so. So that was part of my grind and focus on leveling up. All right, so the next part of all this is, as I mentioned, just not really feeling like you are where you should be, and certain aspects of life happening, and you're like, man, it got to be more. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the same old, just hanging out, laughing. You have some good times, but then you start just thinking about the times that's really have been like a hindrance and a setback for you. When you're around certain folks, man, not to say that you're better than anybody, but in your spirit, you feel something that you're better than your situation, or you just want more, you want better. Hence the name.
It's clever. 6 letters is none better.
I always want to improve and get better. So I talked about those couple of things, but on the flip side of all that, stand down till you come up. You got to carpe diem, seize the moment, and not let procrastination and fear just keep you bounded and hold you down. I know I talked about that in a few of my recent videos. So like the power of saying no, and a few others, walking on water. Check those out, by the way. They'll be here, they'll be there. Check them out. So as we all are, navigating, figuring life out, one thing I want to say and just encourage you is that even in the midst of staying down, at some point, you're going to have to pop back out and kind of get in the mix of things. You don't have to be the same person you were, because you've changed, you evolved, you've grown. But the real test of time is kind of going back in certain environments, around certain people, certain places, or taking yourself back to certain places to see, really, have you grown? Are you still, bounded to certain people, places, things that have been said against you or for you? Like, really testing yourself to see how you adapt to certain environments is a real test of time to see what level you are, if you truly have grown and kind of like, quote unquote, arrived or graduated. So for me, I've been talking about for years, I'm like, man, I think I'm gonna come back, so past few years, homecoming to come. I'm like, oh man, dang, I missed out, man. I wanted to look this way. I wanted to drive this. I wanted to have this much in my account. But at the end of the day, nobody, excuse my French, not even French, nobody gives a damn about how you feel or what you got, what you don't have. You got to get out of that. I had to get out of that. It goes back to, feeling like people pleasing, and just thinking, worried about what others think and how they view you, the perception and stuff. Forget all that. After you get to a place where you've stayed down and really put in the work and you change your mindset, like, I'm no longer doing this for others, regardless, forget how they feel. I got my own goals and missions. Like, this is bigger than anybody and their perception of who I was or whatever. Like, I got to do this for me. I got a family, the legacy, I'm trying to build some things. So, come back come back home, man. At the end of the day, wherever home is for you, come back home, show some love, let people know that you still alive, you're doing well. And the reality is, like, people just want to see a smile, man. They just want to see a smile. They just want to dap you up, embrace you with some love, and ain't nobody worried about what you did or didn't do. For that moment, just share that moment, and that's what it. I'm creating this video and this story to just kind of recap that. Like, sometimes it's okay after you've stayed down for a while, you know what I'm saying, and you've exercised a level of discipline, humility, and you're going through these different emotions, pop out, you know what I'm saying? And not on some like superficial stuff, like you're trying to like flex or braggadocious, just pop out, be cool, you know what I'm saying? You may have that Talley and Twine on the wrist piece, something slight around the neck, something frozen. No, I'm playing, but just pop out, show some love. And at the end of the day, nobody is worried about what you think. Like, the hardest part that, I've struggled with it, in the past, and, I've had my days is, those voices, like the noise in our head, people telling us what we think we should or shouldn't be. Like, mute, silence that noise. You are right where God has you, and then seek him more and he'll elevate you, but you got to do your part. You know, you hold on to that faith, you believe, where I should be and where he's taking me, and then put in the work. So that's one thing. I just been really working on my body, you know what I'm saying? Working on my mind, my spirit, working on my finances. Everything is now coming in alignment in full circle, and no, things ain't perfect, but I am blessed. I'm in a great place. You know what I'm saying? So, it took me a minute to kind of be like, man, forget all that. Tomorrow is not promised. Carpe diem, seize the moment, stop putting away tomorrow what you can do today, because tomorrow may not come. Just think about like friends and family. Like for me, I think about certain, people I went to school with. Some of those in the graduating class or just I went to school with, they not around. Whether they passed away or what, anything that happened, they're just not around for various reasons, So I've grown in a space. I'm continuing to grow and just to really appreciate life. It's not all about the bling and all the superficial stuff. It's like, your roots, you got to kind of get your feet back home in your roots, touch the soil, come back and just appreciate where you came from, but just be also grateful and content of where you are and where you're going. So I said a lot. If this resonates with you, for those that have left home and for whatever reason afraid or don't want to come back home, take just a moment of time to come back home, whether you're seeing friends or family, just be in that presence, that ambience of where you were, where it started, soak some of that in. And that is rejuvenating. That is, that just kind of lights and sparks a fire to get the next phase and the next season even so much sweeter and better. It'll be fuel for you. So take this and, once again, if you're feeling this, if you can if it resonates with you, if you can relate, please, like, comment, hit the bell notification, share this, get this out to others, and let's continue to grow this movement, making it happen. No excuses, clever, 6 letters, there's none better. All right?
It's clever. 6 letters is none better. Back again. Let's go.